Who's got it better than us?
Nobody!
Herbert is being chased, thrown on the run, and it is caught. Touchdown, Keenan Allen. What a great...
My goal is not to break you. My goal is to make you harder to break.
Comes back, number 6.
Huge sack by Joey Bosa.
Touchdown! 90-yard touchdown!
Off at the 8-yard line by Derwin James.
Sets his speed, takes a shot downfield, has Knighton. Caught! Touchdown! Chargers!
Boys, grab your lunch boxes and go attack this game with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind.
What is going on, Bolt fam? Welcome to the Thunder Down Under Chargers podcast with Andy, Jack, and Al. And fellas, a sad bit of deja vu to the show. This time last year, another postseason opportunity goes begging in the wild card. This time to the New England Patriots, 16-3. So that's back-to-back 11-win seasons for Jim Harbaugh and back-to-back one-and-dones. And gents, 48 hours removed. Jack, how are you feeling, man?
Come on, we've been here before. We know. I'm with you. Come on, Chargers fans. This is what happens every year. We know. Me. And baby, I got you. Oh, man. Obviously, that is a very famous song from Bill Murray's Groundhog Day. Andy, you said deja vu. It feels like Groundhog Day. A little worse, perhaps, than the Texans last year, because at least we could move the ball and score a few points. But yes, we walk away from Foxborough with 3 points. The lowest scoring team in the wildcard round. The second highest scoring team was an Arthur Smith-led offense with a 42-year-old at quarterback and a head coach that has just stepped down. So, Alistair, 48 hours removed. I'm feeling a little better, but there's still a bit of a thundercloud, dare I say.
Well, the Steelers had a quarterback playing on edibles who's 42. and who was our quarterback? Was it Ned Ryerson, Jack, from Groundhog Day? He might have done better. We have scored 3 points in a playoff game. 3 points against a defense I would describe as good. Like a really good. solid, good defense off the back of scoring 12 points last year against Houston. I mean, at least when we lost to Jacksonville in that disaster, we scored 30 damn points.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Like, at least it's entertaining football. We are the Pittsburgh Steelers of the AFC West, where we're trying to play in a really, dare I say, conservative, defensive-minded, fewer mistakes than the opposition style of playing. The whole deal is it's not going to be sexy, but we're going to win. That's the deal. That's the Harbaugh deal. Our offensive line's going to be great. We're not going to turn the ball over. We're going to grind you down and pull you under in the last quarter. And Andy, we had chance after chance after chance after chance after chance in this game. I watched it with you. Jack watched it with his buddy down in Tasmania. And every time we got the ball and it was a new drive, I thought, great, the defense has got the ball back. Now let's go. You've got another quarter, Justin. You've got another half, Justin. You've got another possession, Justin. What happened? Talk us through it, brother.
Golly, where do you begin with this one, right? You've kind of umbrellaed it nicely. It was defense playing awesome football, kept the top third scoring offense in the NFL to 16 points, 11 or 12 fewer than their season average. And then you've got an offense that played with concrete shoes and I don't think was set up or prepared well enough to be able, at least from watching Herbert play and break down in the way that he did throughout the game, I don't think that there was enough preparation. And Herbert had an absolute stinker. There's no dancing around that. It sucks to say that's 3 playoff games. The last 2, 4 interceptions against the Texans, 2 fumbles, and it was processing and it was decision-making issues, I think, that were his biggest downfall. Being too afraid to turn the ball over and too conservative and too protective. And he ends up getting poleaxed again and again, 6 more sacks. Sure, 4 of those were late in the game when it was just, but looking at the stat of his highest ever time to throw in a career game, 3.43 seconds. And it says a lot about him hanging on to the ball too long. I mean, what have I missed? Receivers not getting open. Amari and Hampton playing 2 snaps and running game going to absolute God knows where. So it was a culmination. But it sucks because the defense were great. They really were for most parts of the game.
The defense, Andy, were outstanding. I thought they played the way they've played throughout the whole year, and that's giving the offense and Greg Roman and Justin Herbert chances to win the game, to or at least to get some sort of flow going. That Tart tip again to the Henley interception. I almost lost my mind when that happened. I just said this game couldn't have started any better. That's incredible. Okay,
You get
we're
the
in
ball
the red
back
zone.
at the 10. We're at the 10.
Let's go, Greg. Let's do something in the red zone. Let's try and get it in there. And what do we see? We see stupid mesh concepts, and we see Herbert running around and just missing. Speaking of Herbert, I mean, we have to put things bluntly here. Last year, we kind of maybe gave him the excuse he didn't have the weapons, but he still threw for a lot. You're right, Andy. He looks scared. I've never seen him with those
Just
happy
quickly,
feet.
McConkey still had 197 yards and a touchdown in that game. Let's not be
Correct.
talking about no weapons.
Correct.
sorry, play on.
Exactly. Well, it was very.
Didn't have that this week.
We had nothing. I've never seen Justin Herbert stand in the pocket and look so frantic and hoppy. First read, second read, third read. Now go. I got to run. Listen, the play calling obviously didn't help him, but this was Justin Herbert's, I'm going to say, his worst game of his career. He's graded worse than Trey Lance against Denver per PFF. I think he's in the 20s for a playoff game, and we're going to have to sort of sit Alistair for the off season. And the media has already started the whirlwind. Weirdly enough, I've actually seen more defenders of Justin Herbert than I remember seeing last year. There was a lot of vocalization last year of how crap Herbert is. He doesn't play well in the playoffs. But there has been a very balanced response of how bad the offensive line was, and we'll get into that later. But it was shocking for Justin, and I really feel for him. And his press conference was so weird. He's like, I haven't really figured that out. That's very un-Justin Herbert-like to
There's
say
just
something
things you
like
don't
that.
say,
So
right?
it's just
don't say that.
good at all.
What are you doing?
It wasn't even a human response. Like, what do you mean? This is the most polished performer in press conferences. The guy says nothing. He's incredibly vanilla. This guy has served you the easiest layup you'll ever receive in your life. Do you still have confidence in yourself, Jack, that eventually you'll get it done? Well, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm still figuring
We'll have
that
to
out.
evaluate it. Fucking unbelievable. All right, let me off the leash here. I approached this game with an open mind. I did see a couple of things online, Ben Solak and others calling it a bad game on tape. I try to avoid it until I've seen my first watch. And I watched it, and I really couldn't believe some of the turndowns of potential chunks downfield early in the game when the pass protection generally held up. I would say you walk away from that first half thinking O-line neutral, closer to a tick than a cross. I thought Herbert had time to operate. And yes, you were right, Andy. We didn't have the running game to complement it. Some of that is play calling. Still no easy button screens, things that are, and you did still see some, check downs. There were still things
Fisk.
where guys,
Check
like
down to
receivers
Fisk.
that clamped. It's not all on Herbert, but each game, I'm used to this now. I can usually count 2 or 3 snaps per game where I'm watching all 22 and think, oh, maybe we missed one there. Oh, if he threw there, maybe we missed a chance. Or that was
Like
a
any
bit of
good
a dumb
quarterback.
play. Yeah,
any good
2 to 3
quarterback.
snaps
Yeah.
out of 40. And I've got my list here of what I call clear errors, arguable errors, bad quarterback play. And I have 9. I've got missed touchdown opportunities, underthrown balls, deep shots that you could, like your concept is designed to go there and he's got leverage against the corner and you're just holding the ball. And then also 2, I thought really, or 3 bad pieces of quarterback play, that near fumble interception thing in his own goal line was trying to do too much. The sack where he lost the ball by Calavon Chason with 8 minutes remaining on the 2nd and 10, the score's still 3-16 there. It's 2nd and 10. Could have ate that sack instead. He almost lost his life. That could have been a career-ending injury if you look at that.
One of the worst looking hits he's taken. I think
It's terrible. And the irony of Greg Roman getting fired today is he will watch this tape and think, I schemed some stuff open early in this game that you've turned down. And that hasn't been the case for most of the year, where the game that has led to him being crucified, it's almost an inside job. It's almost Justin Herbert's inside job where he's thinking, all right, boys, I'm going to come out here. I'm going to have a PFF grade of 29.7. It's going to be a first percentile PFF grade for the year. That is, PFF thinks this is the worst game played by any quarterback in any game for the whole season. It's going to be the worst of my career. We're going to score 3 points, and then I'm going to get your ass fired and the offensive line coach, Andy.
Well, bravo.
I'm pissed off. Because I love the guy, and like we didn't see a big time throw. We saw 3 turnover worthy plays. He never kind of worked himself into the game at all.
No. And credit where it's due. I think the Patriots called an awesome game defensively. But it was like that, I think a sack just before halftime. And from that point on, it was like he was seeing ghosts. And he was, like you said, Jack, frenetic in the pocket and doubting
Sam Darnold
himself.
at the Jets.
Just doubting himself and not pulling the trigger. There's a lot of watching... what's that guy's name? Solak? His breakdown where you can actually see, I didn't get to watch the All 22 as I rarely do, but you can see that Herbert hitches in the direction of a lot of those sort of semi-open targets. And they're throws that, that's Herbert's bread and butter. Yeah, like just a deep one for QJ against the backup cornerback, pulls it in short for a check down. And the guys that we're checking down to, Matlock, Fisk, like it's so dire. But yeah, Al, I mean, if that was his goal to lay an egg and get the coach fired, then he succeeded. But it was really tough to watch. And, as a Herbert file, I kind of opened my ears a little bit to the criticism because it's 3 playoff losses and he just has not looked great. And you can't not bring it up that, there was bad scheme. Yeah, the receivers couldn't get open. Yeah, the running backs couldn't fire. Offensive line was actually much better than I thought it was going to be honest, especially in the second half. There was time in the pocket, but a lot of it came down to the decision making, and doesn't help when the team goes 1 from 10 on third downs with 5.7 yards on average to gain. So our first and second downs are just not cutting the mustard. We're not getting in a position to execute, that set of downs. 1 from 3 on fourth downs is, it was just the nature of that game where we couldn't score points. But for me, bittersweet. It sort of felt like when we couldn't get that goal to go situation after the Henley interception, I kind of felt like we're not moving the ball. And May looked shocked in the big lights, and then he kind of relaxed and came good. And McDaniels helped him out. You're checking down to Stevenson, who's going 48 yards. That's the big That's one of the big differences.
Andy, I can't believe that we're living in a world where the last time we went to Foxborough in the playoffs, we were playing against a guy called Brady, the known king of checking and changing plays at the line. And we know that sliding protection, changing things up. Hey, what made me sick is Drake May is in his own end zone. And he sees that there's a run blitz coming. I'm pretty sure Tony Jefferson comes down pretty hard from the safety spot. He goes, no. Walks up to the line and goes, hey, check, change. Ramondre Stevenson, 50 yards. Have we seen that from Justin Herbert? I don't know. Maybe sometimes, maybe. But have we ever seen it in a big spot like that? In your own 10, in your own end zone, you go, hey, no, I'm going to have the confidence in myself and the scheme, and I've been coached really well to go, take it into my own hands, boom, hey guys, I've got this, don't worry. There's been a lot of stuff online about Greg Roman and how Lamar Jackson for 4 years couldn't do any of that. Or if it was very, very minimal. The play was locked into the personnel that was on the field because Greg Roman has a great fucking running scheme. Well, Greg, I don't think you're going to be OCing anymore much longer. You're out. Alistair, it just makes me sick that they've gone down, the Patriots. They've gone down. They've been at the bottom. They've found their guy. Now they're back up, and now they're going, possibly, if they can beat Denver, which I think will be a great matchup. They'll be going deep into February, well, January at least. It just makes me sick. Like, what are we doing? Just makes
pisses
sick.
me right off. And they didn't play anywhere near a perfect game. Drake May had real moments. If you're a Pats fan, you'd actually be a bit pissed off at Drake May. He's almost lost a fumble that Henley could have scooped up and scored 50 yards with about 3 minutes left. That OA fumble, which was his second lost fumble, and he threw a pick in his own end zone. So that is enough to win most playoff games. We got the second-year quarterback stuffing up on the big stage enough times to give us that game. The other thing I was going to say about Herbert is this is the first time I've ever seen in his career where he didn't have the mustard on his arm on about 3 throws. You might not remember all of them. There are a couple to Keenan where it kind of was just dropping on him before he got there.
Scared?
One right at the end.
Alistair?
Well,
Okay,
I think maybe that's
Do you
the-
think
maybe
he was
that's
scared? 4 touchdowns? Do you think he's going 4 touchdowns? Oh, I'm just going to not put the mustard on it. I'm just going to see if I can drop it in there. Do you
I
he
think
was
it's
scared?
more likely that what we saw is either maybe it was the windy conditions of Foxborough and Drake May was also struggling a bit because we saw it on that throw to Ladd down the left sideline. That was a chance for a big play, slightly underthrown as well. Or it's the accumulation of hits. It's the broken left hand. He's just lost it by the end of that game where he's been hit many times. I want to cut to the chase, Jack. This is definitely a Jack question. Jump in as well, Andy. Arguably, Harbaugh's biggest strength is building up the confidence of his players and having them ready to be at their best when their best is needed. Herbert's performance in these last 2 playoff games. Is that an indictment on Jim Harbaugh's abilities as a football coach?
Gosh, it's so hard to say that because how close of a relationship does Harbaugh have? You'd argue that he has. It should be close. I'm sending this guy to the Hall of Fame. You know what? Yes, it is. It's an indictment on Jim Harbaugh. He's the best player in the world. He's God. He's God. He's a hero. He's a superstar. He can do all these types of things. Well, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You've put him in a situation, that's probably untenable with a play caller that has no idea how to utilize his capabilities to the best of the abilities. B, you've put him, Ortiz has put him behind a line that is not good enough. Probably A, from the coaching as well. And I'm going A, B, C. I'm confused here. But also he's been hit more than any other quarterback in this era since Andrew Luck. So yeah, you're not putting your quarterback. No, this is a failure of Harbaugh. I will say that loud and clear. The last 2 years, when we get to the playoffs, has been an utter failure from Harbaugh to put the best player in the team, which is Justin Herbert, in the best situations to win. Perhaps it's also a failure of Ortiz as well. Andy, what say you?
Well, and Andy, so you got something different to add as well. Like, is that partially a shortcoming of this CEO style of head coach where he's not a coordinator? He's not in there doing the X's and O's. He's just pulling the strings. He's the little puppeteer sitting on top 65 and senile. Is it working? Yes or no?
I think there's definitely limitations to that kind of role of or style of coaching because you don't have kind of quality control or oversight of one side of the ball and the plays that are going through. He'd have an idea, being a quarterback, being in the head coaching role for so long, but I think it is a shortfall, and I do think it's an indictment. And Jack, you nailed it, man. He's come out and said all this stuff about wanting to get Justin into the Hall of Fame, win a Super Bowl, all this stuff. And I know you can't help the injuries to the tackles, but nothing was changed apart from bringing in Becton, which was at best kind of a bit of a risk, an unproven thing, and not fixing centre or whatever was going on with left guard and centre. 2 tackles on the outside will not fix what's coming up the middle, which was all the time unpicked up stunts A-gap blitzes from linebackers. Tackles can't do anything about that, right? So I get it. You can't fix everything in one go, and coming in 1 year, doing your best, and then moving on into year 2, you can't fix every hole. But I think he's really let Justin down by the way that this year's unfolded, and everything that has been a mental and physical toll on his body and his playing and his confidence. Man, he's clearly if he's answering that press conference like that, his confidence is taking a hit as well as his body.
I think there's and let me, after being very harsh on Harbaugh there, let's say, but the overall organizational change that he has brought has been pretty significant.
For sure.
You know, the one thing I must admit that we're heaping this stuff up on Herbert is the guy didn't stop. The guy continued to play, almost took a hit that ended his life. The defense continued to play. Clearly, there's some disconnect between what Roman is doing. I feel like Roman is this guy that and I'm just pontificating here, Alistair, but it feels like if he's not giving his quarterbacks, and all the rumors suggest that this is true, whether it's not, who knows, but he likes to sit there and go, no, I've got the strings. I know what I'm doing. It's okay. You trust me, that naturally there's going to be a little bit of distance. You look, some of the coordinators, the relationship they had, like Daboll and Josh Allen, you know, Mike McDaniel is a great sort of relationships guy. They're close. They love that. Harbaugh kind of had it with Herbert when he's pumping him up and doing all that kind of stuff. But you're right. He's that CEO. He's that head coach. I oversee everything. I think Justin Herbert is just missing a really good friend. He's just missing a friend. He had Joe Alt. I think that was kind of his buddy. I think he's just missing a friend to talk football with, because Trey Lance probably isn't doing it. I think he's just missing someone. So yes, Harbaugh has failed Herbert. Andy and I both agree there. Organizationally, Mint is a little Harbaugh. What he's done to the defense, and overall what Harbaugh has done to the organization. Hey, we're coming off 2 11-win seasons. That hasn't happened in recent memory. So let me sort of draw back my harsh criticism of Harbaugh by giving him a little bit of that.
Yeah, sorry for calling you senile, Coach. I'm being unnecessarily provocative and belligerent. That the evidence that he's nothing of the sort and really cares about this, Andy, and now's the time to address it, I think. They have fired Greg Roman, and they have fired the offensive line coach, Mike Devlin. So we will start afresh. We will give Justin Herbert his 5th coordinator entering his 7th season. We do not know if this was a missive and a direction from above. That is not reported on. Hopefully it was Harbaugh's own gumption. Either way, Greg Roman is out the door, and they will get a chance to run through whoever they want. Why don't I just throw some names out there, and then you guys can chime in with anything you think, okay? Because there's a lot of talking, there's a lot of rumour mongering. People have opined on who they'd like. You've got internal candidates. None of them have called plays beyond high school before. That's Shane Day, quarterback coach, Andy Bischoff, the tight end coach, run game coordinator, Sanjay Lal, the wide receiver coach. Those seem unlikely. If you want to go the nepotism or what's I'm familiar with route, you've got David Shaw, former Stanford head coach after Jim Harbaugh was, who's now the OC for the Maryland. Right now he's the Lions pass game coordinator. So this is his first year back on the sidelines since he was fired at the end of the 2022 season with Stanford. David Shaw, respected quarterback guy, Andrew Luck's mentor, close relationship with Harbaugh. You've also got Pep Hamilton, another Stanford alum. Right now, he's the OC for the Maryland Terrapins. He was with Herbert as, I think, quarterback coach for a little while.
Rookie season?
Yeah, it might have been rookie season. And then just quickly, other names. Then you're looking at either recently fired head coaches, Brian Daboll, Mike McDaniel, Todd Monken, who's been with his brother at the Ravens, Brian Callahan, who could come over with his dad, Bill Callahan, one of the great offensive line coaches of this generation, Cliff Kingsbury, and then the last name, everyone wants to interview this 35-year-old pass game coordinator for Sean McVay, Nate Scheelhasser. This guy is having 3 head coaching interviews this cycle with the Ravens, Browns, and Raiders, he's never been an OC. He's McVay's play drawer.
Yeah.
My goodness. All right. Those are a lot of names. I'm sure there are others. Listeners can comment with some of your favorites. Jack, I'll start with you. What's your vision for this new OC?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not going to say a name right now, but I guess what we should be looking for, is a person, an OC that can utilize. When you look at the wide receiver room as it is it damning with faint praise to call it gadgety? I think it's gadgety when I look at it. Trey Harris, Keenan Allen if he goes around, Lad McConkey, QJ. They can all there's no main X receiver there. There's no alpha dog like a Justin Jefferson or, dare I say it, like, someone like a Devonta Adams or a DK Metcalf or an AJ Brown. No one like that. QJ's gadgety. Lad is could be in a few years one of those, your A receiver, A plus receiver. But again, he's still in that gadgety phase. Keenan is a one trick pony now. Whether he's going to go around again, because he looked very, very slow. Alistair, you hit the nail on the head. There was no veteran oomph to go into the playoffs. There was nothing left. And then KLS, he's been returning punts all year. And Trey Harris, we sort of don't know just yet. So someone that can get a pass game, that can utilize all their skills. I don't want to see QJ down the sideline making contested catches. That's not what he was drafted for. So a guy that can come in, be interesting in the pass game and utilize Justin Herbert. B, have some fun in the run game. It's really hard to say what kind. Do we go back to zone? Do we go power? What do we do? Because the interior of the offensive line is going to change drastically. So you're kind of thinking that whatever OC comes in, that's kind of going to give you an idea about how they're going to rebuild the interior of that offensive line. That's sort of my little diatribe off the top of the dome there.
Well done.
Yeah.
And Andy, another name I didn't mention with a tie to Herbert, since Mike McDaniel got fired, Frank Smith, who was with us as our run game coordinator under Staley and has been the OC at Miami, not calling plays, he's potentially available too.
I would like for Justin Herbert to be included in the discussion and for the coaches to ask him what kind of offense he wants to play. Because I feel like he has been sort of pigeonholed into various things, basic concepts, stuff like that, repetitive, and he just clearly has the talent. It just hasn't gone the next level. So I think that is an integral part. And
great point.
Just to your point, Jack, maybe not gadgety. I just feel like the way that the sort of similar, to an extent, skill set of the wide receivers as a group is used one-dimensionally. So I think it's like, and when it does come off, it probably gets that gadgety kind of feel. When I think of gadgety, I think of a guy who's, I hope is not on the roster next year, Darius Davis, is some kind of like...
Knew where you're going.
Yeah, tiny guy that has shockingly minimal lateral speed. And look, I'm not going to go too much outside of what Jack was saying as far as, the use of those receivers. Maybe that's sort of where we meet, Jack, and just an identity in the run game. I think this whole aura around the Harbour Chargers is the identity of this, like, blue collar, get it done in the trenches, and it's not what we've done. So I think the blessing is that with hopefully an upheaval of the interior of the offensive line, we now get a new coordinator, a new O-line coach, maybe other positional coaches as well, to be part of that drafting process, that scouting process, free agency, all that sort of thing, and bring in the right guys. Because I think for a long time, the Chargers offense has been trying to do X with Y guys. And we've been square peg round holing a lot. And so hopefully this is the beginning of the sort of heads of the bay that we can kind of go out and get who we need for the right reasons.
It's going to be fascinating to see what they do, because some of these names I would describe as being pass first. Daboll, Monken, some of the criticisms of Ravens fans who give the ball to Derrick Henry more. What are you doing in the playoff games to Todd Monken? Where is going to be that alignment with how Harbour believes in playing football? I don't know. Maybe it is a Brian Callahan who might defer a little bit to Jim Harbaugh's desires. Since Jack
That's
raised it, Andy,
that's a terrifying notion, Callahan and Callahan Senior coming in after what happened at Tennessee. I know that was an absolute
and the
dumpster
relationship
fire.
he had with
But-
Will Levis, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
add another thing, like winning pedigree. How about that? Knowing how to win, knowing how to be in those big games and get it done, and creative, know how to adapt, things like that. Balance. All that
All
sort of
those
stuff.
guys already have head coaching jobs. Unfortunately, that's the way the league runs. Andy, I want to ask you a question. Jack raised Keenan, and I'm not trying to do a "I told you so" about last week, because he may have rested last week and played just as badly the other day. Who knows, right? My question though, I remember, Andy, when Keenan left for the Bears. Jack at the time said that perhaps it was for the best, moving forward with new players who were disconnected from the Chargers' recent history of failure. With that in mind, was it the wrong move to sign Keenan Allen this year after the performance he just put in, which on the tape was one of his worst games as a Charger, I thought, at least? It's a tough
No,
one.
I don't think it was a bad idea, a bad call to bring him back. Very disappointing, and I feel kind of sorry for him that the season ended that way, and that was the performance that he put out. But it's clear that playing, 17, 18 games in a year is almost too much of an ask for him, because he didn't look polished out there. And is he 31, pushing 32? It happens. People slow down. He's been a phenomenal receiver his whole career. High targets, high yardage, all that sort of stuff. That's high workload. So not necessarily well, it is a knock on him, but I don't mean it personally. It's kind of how it goes. I don't think it was
Can
a
I
bad
ask
idea to
you,
bring him
Jack?
back.
Would you
Can I-
think about bringing him back?
So I just looked at PFF's their receiving grades. Keenan Allen, per PFF, is our highest graded receiver at 40. Quentin Johnson, Trey Harris, and QJ are all sitting in the 80s and the 90s. Let me put it
Is
to you
that
this
sorry? Is
way,
that
Alistair.
on the whole season, Jack? Or
On the whole season?
What are you talking about?
I believe.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be the whole season. Yeah. So,
Yes. Yeah.
taking into everything. So, you look at that, but I mean, I think my question is, has bringing Keenan Allen back, yes, won us some games, third and Keenan. Remember, start in the middle of the year, Keenan Allen had some very, very important catches that won us games. I wonder whether it's really put a ceiling on Ladd's development in his second year, because the drop off that we have seen is quite incredible, possibly the biggest drop off of any player this year that had such a promising 2020, 2025. So 24, should I say. What do you think? Do you think you bring Keenan back for the good vibes? I mean, he's going to have to take something less than $8 million a year. He's got to be on like almost $5 to make it worthwhile. But again, like, is that taking away snaps from Trey Harris? I want to see a little bit more KLS. The guy we saw in preseason was incredible, and we hardly got to see him again. So I don't know. Maybe the room's too full. Too full.
I think the way I'd approach it would be to hire the new offensive coordinator, let it breathe for a couple of weeks. We're then coming up towards March, and when it's the new league year and you're making these decisions, you're having an open conversation with Keenan. They're going to have more information than we are about how his body was. I said I thought he was slowing down on tape the last 4 weeks of the year. Jack, you pointed out he kept on facing great cornerbacks, which is true. And Christian Gonzalez is another one of those. But they're the guys you're going to face in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
They're gonna make the playoffs. So if he's not getting open against those people anymore, and he is eating up the third down targets that Ladd was getting last year, which we've seen statistically, that's been the major area of Ladd's regression, not getting those 3rd and 7 targets, and Keenan's going to start taking footballs, which he started doing towards the end of the year. It is a really hard one, unless he really is willing to come back for nothing. But then maybe you're not even going to do it, Andy, because I'm watching tape that tells me we still have a separation problem, and that ain't going to get any better by having Keenan play another 500, 600 snaps next season. We might need to look to the draft relatively early again if we can't find someone in free agency to fill that role.
Totally agree. I think that is one of the big missing pieces of the receiver room, is that speed and separation. And if you're going to run 4 verticals, at least get one guy there first, huh? So, look, we'll let it breathe. I don't want to say that I don't want him back. Loved Keenan the whole time. So, yeah, it's just how careers go. They all come to an end eventually.
And he had a very good year, as Jack just said. It's not the worst way to bow out if he does.
Yeah,
For sure. I don't think we'd have 11 wins if it wasn't for Keenan, right? So there was absolute value in having him come back. We just need to let the dust settle a little bit before we make that decision next. Well, we don't have to make that decision. We don't have to do that. We just get to talk about it and speculate and do all that. Is there anything else we want to talk about from the game? I think Adafe Owe needs to be mentioned. Jack, you mentioned Taylor Hart with his bat down, but those guys to me were the two, Henley as well. They were the two vital pieces of the defense that gave May so much trouble. 3 sacks to Owe and a strip sack in there. Anyone else or anything else? J.K. Scott shanked another punt.
Jesse Minter, if you're listening, I love you. We love you. The team loves you. Please don't go. It's a very rare sight for someone at the Chargers coaching or someone within the Chargers coaching staff to have this much positivity and this much interest around them to be a head coach. What has he got? 8 interviews, Alistair, I think you said earlier today. What that man has done as a young defensive coordinator walking into the league under Harbaugh, yeah, I get that, but he has completely changed the identity and the way that we play defense. He's utilized Derwin really well. He has made players out of guys that are 5th round draft picks, guys that are off the street. He has developed them. He has made them believe that they can do it. Owe even said, he's like, coming to the Chargers has made me realize what I can do. He's had Mac. He's developed Tooley into one of the best pass rushers in the league. 14 sacks for the year, I think now, 15. You've got Cam Hart. You've got Mulder.
Minter's the monopoly guy,
Jefferson.
Jack. You'd want to come
amazing.
and play because he's going to make you $20 million on your next contract.
He's amazing. Jesse, we love you. Thank you so much for your time. You know, we'll probably talk a little bit about him when he goes off, but mate, you kept us in games. You won us games from what you did with the defense. I love you, baby. Please don't go. Please don't go. But I'm on the floor crying because you're probably going to go. So thank you, Jesse.
Most nights of the week that I put my young Aussie to bed, I read what was my favorite book as a child is Where the Wild Things Are by Morris Sendak. Yeah. And when I can't not read the page when Max has had enough of Where the Wild Things Are. And I just see Jesse Minter on that boat sailing over a year and in and out of weeks and almost through a day back to his room to eat his hot dinner. And it ruins bedtime for me now. I just think of Jesse Minter leaving the Chargers, and that's one of the hardest sort of takeaways of this game is like put the offense aside. The defense is so good, and we're going to lose this guy because he's got 8 head coaching interviews. Yeah. Like he's gone. So we've fired the offensive coordinator, and we've got to look for a new defensive coordinator as well. So,
and I think he kind of saved his masterclass for this last game, really. Because, I mean, yes, okay, we had some luck, right? Missed touchdown to Austin Hooper on Molden. May missed a couple. It happens. But if you enter this game and we're told you're going to keep the Pats to 16 points, you're going to sack Drake May 6 times, 4 of 11 on 3rd down, 0 of 3 in the red zone, 2 forced fumbles, a pick, and you're going to keep their pass EPA to minus 1.83. I think we'd predict a win. We'd go,
if Herbert played
16 points.
If Herbert played okay, I think we would have a win.
Yep. And he did something he hasn't done all year. He came in and played base. He's been 32nd in the league in playing base, and New England would have thought that's a bit different. You've got Derwin playing the deep safety half the game. It didn't always work, but they showed that creativity, and it works. So I echo that. You said it better than I could have, Jack. We hope, we cross our fingers, but we also recognise that with 8 interviews, it would take him just to say, I don't want any interviews. Actually, I'm not interested, which is going to be difficult.
Or it takes the spanner to go. It takes spanner to go. Hey, we'll make you the highest paid defensive coordinator in the league. Stay.
You can have
stay for 2 years.
half of what Jim's having.
Exactly.
And 4 of his chickens.
Alistair, you brought it up beautifully. You're like 2 pictures, one of Roman, one of Jesse Minter, and you go, one of these guys is not like the other one. Minter did stuff that wouldn't have been on tape, did stuff that was different, tried to change it up. Drake May was confused. The Patriots also did some really funny buggers on their back end. Was it, Alistair, they were playing quarters, but they were also playing, was it zone or something? Or
Yeah, well,
man?
half the
There
field
was some-
looked like man, like cover 3, and the other half of the field looked like cover 4.
quarters.
You don't see that often.
And
Whatever.
the every single route combination from Roman's offense seemed to have like at least 2 Patriots players in and around where they were going to be, and so it just goes to show that in this modern game you need to be like Jesse Minter, you need to be like Vrabel, you need to be willing to take risks, to change things, you need to be willing to adapt. And
So, Jack, are you telling me it is not creative to target Tucker Fisk the same number of times as Trey Harris and Aronde Gadsden, and only one fewer time than Lad McConkey?
Tucker Fisk
Nobody was expecting that.
No, I think that was out of necessity rather than planned, to be honest. Tucker Fisk fell over. He didn't know what to do. He's like, what am I doing here?
He was wearing sandals. I'm sure of it. Or flippers or something.
Man.
The guy is drunk.
The guy is drunk.
I did say to you, Al, when we were driving over to our mate Dom's place to watch the game, and I said, if we're going to lose him, I want balls to the wall. And we got it. We got it from Jesse.
Absolutely.
Yes, amazingly, Greg Roman went unders on his average playoff scores. It was sitting, I think, at 13.8 or something, putrid like that. It is now 11.9 and 7.5 points per game in Chargers playoffs. So you're doing something wrong.
Dare I say it, though? Dare you say it, is that we've done something wrong, but literally 2 days after he's gone. Like that to me
I'm
is
shocked,
something
man.
That's positive. It's like I did heap shit on Harbaugh to say he's put his quarterback in a bad position. But this is what everyone wanted. This is the move that everyone wanted. If it was, I was waiting for maybe 2
Did
weeks
you want
down
it,
the line.
Jack? But by the other day, you definitely wanted
by
it.
the end
Yeah.
by the end of the game, absolutely. Just with the way it played out, I just felt Justin Herbert was at sea. But I was maybe expecting it to be 2 weeks down the line. We've had our exit interviews. We've talked. Okay, Greg maybe go. By then, all the candidates are gone. Jim and whether it's a Spanner, I've gone. This is one of the hottest coaching carousels we've had in a while. Sorry, Greg, you've had 2 years. You got to get out. That's just pathetic. And Devlin, you can go too. Let's go. Let's win. So in that sense, I think there's actually some real positives very quickly after one of the worst games in recent memory.
As a triplet, we've been so tidal on the Greg Roman experience. Like,
Absolutely.
should we keep him? Should we let him? Like, do we want him gone? But what we've always stayed constant on is that Jim's not going to get rid of his buddy. And I think what it says to me is enough of that. This is business, and you're not cutting the mustard. You're eating it all. Just to fire. Yeah, he coached with him. He coached with him at Stanford in 2009. The guy has been in and around the NFL for 30 years. There's a deep friendship with his family, Greg's family, and he's just said, "We're done." So that's a big step. That's a big step for Jim. Jim's one of those guys, I think, who's pretty set in his ways, and
But is he though? Because he's fired. Like, maybe he sees that time is running out, and he's like,
that's what I'm saying. I'm shocked because I
Yeah.
see him as a guy who is set in his ways because he believes in himself. He's that is that positive sort of reinforcer. But like I said, that's why I'm shocked. And the thing, Jack, just to go on what you were saying about the way that Jesse Minter thinks and the way that he sort of develops a game plan, it's the contemporary way of thinking. There's no set in your old ways, and that just seems like that's what Greg is, what he does. His trajectory, with the 49ers and with the Ravens was start off, it's something different, execute, then it dips, and then it kind of comes back, but it's always sort of middling. It's relevant, but it's middling, and he's, top 3 in explosive plays, but as far as success rate, it's not that high, or the EPA per play isn't that high, and yeah, it's been a perfect storm, unfortunately, for Greg Roman, the way that the offensive line's been this year and losing who they lost, but you didn't change anything, so I can't feel bad for him because he didn't try to adapt.
But Minter also had nobody and had one of the best defenses in the league for 2 years. What gives me hope about Harbaugh, and maybe I'm just kind of, yeah, but I mean, that a lot of stuff went to the offense for Greg.
I agree that they've invested less on the defense. Yeah, I think they've made him carry more of the load.
Absolutely, and the one thing that I would say is that what gives me hope, and only just kind of thinking about this now, is that if Jesse Minter is a Harbaugh-ite, that does give me hope that maybe Harbaugh is not as stuck in his ways as we think. Jesse Minter is essentially, he's going to be able to say, thank you, Harbaugh, I am now a head coach because of you. And he's been allowed to thrive and develop his own way of thinking and do things differently. So that does perhaps give me a little bit of, again, that maybe a little bit of positivity for next season. Great conversations.
God forbid the Chargers play whatever team Jesse Minter's coaching.
We do say as well, like we're a bit irreverent here, having a bit of fun with it. We wish Greg all the best. I have not missed a single press conference he's given while being a Charger, and I've got to say I quite like listening to him. I think he's a good guy. He obviously knows a lot about the game, just wasn't able to keep up and adapt. And yes, injuries also hurt him this year. Maybe it would have been better with different pieces, and at least Najee and Amarian and Holt and Slater, and he's probably regretful, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles when you put up 3 points in a playoff game. So bon voyage, Greg. All the best.
Yep. Our awards. Yeah, nah.
Yes.
Nah, yeah.
I'll start us off with the yeah, all right? Had to think about this a bit and realised we probably haven't spoken about him enough this year, although I'm glad we've raised it in this show. Tart. The part of the award is when Puna left last year, I was pretty disappointed, thinking we should have kept him, and who's going to step up in the room? Well, he's ended up being the 9th ranked run defense grade in the NFL this year. He's been exemplary for almost all of the season. And then in this wild card round game, he comes out, has a fantastic grade, has a sack, has the batted pass that led to the Henley interception, has the running back tackle for loss to start the second half. He just does things the right way. He's a free agent now. It'll be interesting to see how Ortiz handles this negotiation after allowing Puna leave. I, for one, hope that we keep him. So well done. It's taken right till the end of the year to properly acknowledge you, Tart, but very well done on a fantastic season from you.
Well said. Definitely deserves all the praise because, yeah, he's been a beast. And you're right. I saw Puna Ford get a sack in the Rams-Panthers game, and I thought, yeah, it'd be nice. But Tart's stepped up well, and I think he's actually been a pretty good role model for Boygby and the like along the course. It'd be really easy for the award to put it on Justin Herbert. It's probably deserving. All the times that he puts on the superhero cape and, his out-of-script playmaking ability always gets us over the line, and it's another playoff loss. But even though the defense was great, I was a little bit concerned. Mine, award is to Derwin James. A very quiet return. Maybe it was because of the snap positioning. I think I wrote it down somewhere. So throughout the regular season, he was playing 33% of his snaps in the box, 39 at slot, 28% at slot this week, 23 in the box, and 34 at the free safety position. So that's up 22% from this week compared to the whole course of the year. Bumbled that pick that Henley snapped up, and I just think from such a powerful, prominent leader, he just was a little bit missing. That said, the defense was pretty faultless, but I feel like we've put the absolute blowtorch on 10, and we're running the risk of whoever does listen to the show this week saying Justin Herbert's the best. Yeah, we love Justin Herbert. We love Jim Harbaugh, but everyone deserves criticism, and that's we've lost the playoff game, so that's here we are. So sorry, Dylan, this week, always a great leader. Prominent, you showed up to Gillette Stadium in the cold weather wearing just shorts with your six-pack and your pecs, and then you just sort of went missing a little bit, and expect a bit more. What do you got, Teach?
Short and sharp from me to finish the season. I have been reading Peter Bills's The Jersey, which is about the story of the All Blacks throughout the last sort of 2 to 3 decades. And this is eerily similar of, the funk that that the All Blacks found themselves in numerous World Cups leading up to their dominant stretch. They were always failing at the last minute. They came to the last game, the semi-final, the final, and they just get pipped. It feels like we're on the precipice, guys. And I'm going to be positive to finish the teachable moment for the 25-26 season. And I'm going to go back to something that a wise person once told me when I was feeling a bit anxious about something. And, nothing good is ever easy. And if it's easy, then it's not going to be any good. Right now, we are going through something really, really challenging. It sucked. There are a lot of, I almost cried. There was a bit of screaming. We've all been commiserating. But we've just got to stick with it. We have to stick by. And yes, we've been critical of Harbaugh. Andy, you said it perfectly. Yes, we've been critical of Justin Herbert, Derwin James. Stick by them. Stick by them because I think something is coming. I just feel it. They're going to do soul searching. Trust in the process. People are going to criticize me for that. That's all right. But how I'm going to get through this last teachable moment and the off season, nothing good is ever easy. If it's too easy, it's not going to be any good. Class dismissed for the 25-26 season.
Spring break. See you in Cancun.
Woo!
Al, we're going to round out the show talking about the remaining playoff games, the divisional round. Over to you.
Yes, and I'm glad Jack ended on that positive note because some could think that we had lost faith in Herbert, but he might not have confidence in himself right now. Mine is shaken from that performance, but I think all three of us, we've seen him play like a top 5 quarterback for long, long stretches. Give him the right situation, give him the right play caller.
Sure. Absolutely.
We try again next year. Geez, if nothing good comes easily, we've had it very good for about 10 years. I wouldn't mind us actually turning the page and seeing some results. Hopefully next season. All right, sorry. Just quick, we thought we'd have a bit of fun. I bloody went 5 of 6 on my predictions last week. The one I got wrong was my own team, so I've learned that lesson. We've got 5 games in divisional round. 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday US time. The first one, Jack, is 4:30 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. And then, Jack, it will be Bills and Broncos on CBS. So the Jim Nantz, Tony Romo game. What do you think about this one? Do we have a prediction?
Oh, it was what, just let's take our eyes off the Chargers game and let's forget what happened between Pittsburgh and Houston. But what games leading up to it? They were incredible. The games were some of the best football that I've watched in a very long time, one after the other. The Bills and Jacksonville was no exception. I thought I was cursed to have Caleb Williams, Aaron Rodgers, and Trevor Lawrence in the playoffs. And unfortunately, the guy that I said was better than Caleb Williams ends up fucking beating us in the wild card. So I feel like I'm a little bit cursed with these quarterbacks. But anyway, obviously, what Josh Allen did in Jacksonville was incredible. The last drive they got to the touchdown was fantastic. I'm taking the Bills in this one. I don't think the cold, windy weather, if it is in Denver, is going to worry Josh Allen that much. That's where Buffalo love to play. I just feel like you got to go best player on both sides. Bo Nix, Josh Allen. I'm taking Josh Allen 100 times out of 100 over Bo Nix. Yes, Denver have a great defense. I just feel like this is the year for Josh Allen. I hope it is for Buffalo and for Josh. So I'm going Buffalo Bills. Screw you, Peyton. Hate the Denver Broncos. Piss off. You're going to go one and done.
Nice. And a soft spot for old Josh Palmer and Joey Bosa, both playing for Buffalo too. So I really would love to see them go the whole way. Andy, then on Saturday, the nighttime game at 8 p.m. Eastern is the 49ers at the Seahawks on Fox. Tom Brady, Kevin Burkhardt. What do you think about this one?
I think Brock Purdy at Seattle is 4-0, playing at Seattle, which is an interesting little tidbit. Kyle Shanahan surprised me a lot. I had the Eagles at the line, so to cover 5.5, because Fangio usually has his way. But Kyle Shanahan was impressive. Brock Purdy was impressive. Losing George Kittle, though, is massive. And I just don't think... Yeah, whole bottle of Patron straight down to the locker room. It was finished by game's end. What a guy. The guy's an animal. I think it's just a little bit bridge too far. And I just don't know if the sort of sparse stars on the defense that might be remaining uninjured can keep it up. Seattle's defense has been incredible. I'm taking the Seahawks for Sam Darnold's first playoff victory at home and moving into a home NFC title game.
Okay. I'm with you both so far. They're my predictions as well. And then the
Also,
final
Jack,
two...
sorry, just quickly. I don't know why, because I think they've got holes everywhere. I'm on the Bills real hard for the rest of this playoffs. And you nailed it on the head. Watching the playoff weekend and then watching our game was a lot like Krusty the Clown when they play that Worker and Parasite and you see that old cigarette drool out of his mouth and he goes, "What the hell was that?
What the hell was that?"
I'm never going to show that again.
Herbert looked a bit like early Josh Allen in his first couple of playoff games, unfortunately. Let's get back on it, Justin. Sunday games, 3 p.m. Eastern. Jack, it is Texans at the Patriots on ESPN. So Joe and Troy, talk to me, brother.
This is a fascinating one because if you're the Texans, you're going, surely CJ Stroud can do better than what he did. And then you go, well, maybe not, because Nico Collins took a very big hit and he looks like he's going to be sitting. That was quite bad. So he's going to be in the concussion protocol, I think. But that Houston Texans defense, man, is nasty. It's going to take Josh McDaniels everything in his bag of tricks to keep Drake May clean, I think. Will Campbell got abused by Oweh. You got to think that Will Anderson Jr., Will Anderson Jr. is going to be coming hard at Will Campbell on the left side there. So in a weird way.
Usually reserve those jokes for Lloyd.
Yeah. I'm going to say, God, this is hard. But CJ Stroud just doesn't fill me with confidence. And again, I go back to the quarterback. Is it going to be Drake May? Is it going to be CJ Stroud? I'm going Drake May. I think
5
the
fumbles
Patriots,
and a pick.
Yeah, I think the New England Patriots get this done, and the Texans lose. I think this is a close one too. I think this is a 1-score game, but I think Patriots win.
Yep. I'm with you. The home field advantage. Vrabel used to work at the Texans.
Yeah.
I just think they're the better team. But, man, that defense did what it did against Aaron Rodgers. Bit harder to do it to a quarterback about half Rodgers' age. We'll see how it goes. And then, Andy, take us home, mate. Final game of Divisional Round weekend. It will be 6:30 p.m. Eastern on NBC. Tirico on Collinsworth. The LA Rams at the Chicago Bears. Will there be a handshake at the end of it?
Yes. More than a fleeting handshake. Geez, it's a tough one. The Rams could be anything and they could be nothing. They showed absolute Jekyll and Hyde stuff against the Panthers in moments. Does Stafford have enough in the tank to just not brain fade? Or does Ben Johnson have enough to fool everyone and get Caleb Williams across the line? I think I think the Bears got over the line because Green Bay are an imperfect team with injuries on the defense and offense, and a quarterback that is hit and miss, inaccurate, and makes mistakes. I don't think the Rams are in that same mold. So I'm going to go an upset and say the Rams to beat the Bears. Might not be an upset, but the home field advantage. I reckon Chicago will go into the game as favourites, and I'm going to take the Rams.
We're all exactly on the same page. What could possibly go wrong? So we are saying, TDU crew, it will be Bills at Patriots and Rams at Seahawks.
We have got two divisional title games. AFC East, NFC West. That's wild. That's cool. What a sport. Well, there you go, folks. Comment your predictions for... Let's not talk playoffs anymore. Let's keep the TDU chat to offensive coordinators. It's a new leaf now. We're moving forward. We're going to take a little bit of a break, a week or two, and just decompress and then get into our end of season roundtable when we decide, or, depending on how long it is until an offensive coordinator is named. We'll see you all again soon. Thanks again. Thanks, guys, for joining us tonight. Thanks, guys, for joining us for the whole year. We love doing this, and you guys are a massive part of that. The interaction we have is wonderful, and it's heaps of fun. So thank you for tuning in throughout the year, and we'll see you again soon on Thunder Down Under. Chargers, boy, girl!
Backpedals looking, firing. He's got Floyd turning. Got it! 6 and 10, 5, high step, touchdown! San Diego!
Woo! Good night! Good night to all!